What do you get when you mix live TV, unpredictable animals, and very British politeness? Absolute glorious chaos. The saying, never work with children or animals, clearly came from someone who watched a lemur try to mug a BBC reporter and thought, never again. British television has a long, wobbly history with animal guests, some adorable, some aggressive, and some dangerously leaky. From diva dogs to elephants with zero bladder control, here's our countdown of the top 10 most hilariously disastrous animal moments in UK TV history. Grab a towel, you might need it. Number 10, the lemur ambush. BBC News gets a furry surprise. Back in 2018, BBC News thought it would be a cracking idea to do a live broadcast from a zoo in Norfolk. What could go wrong? Enter Alex Dunlop, who was sent into the ring-tailed lemur enclosure to count them . Instead of standing still for a nice census, the lemurs decided to treat him like an amusement park ride. They clambered up him, nibbled his coat, and basically used him as a jungle gym. At one point, one of the cheeky creatures even bit him, earning a startled ow and an unscripted swear word, thankfully edited out before broadcast. For once, we were all grateful for pre-recording. Lemurs 1, BBC 0. Number 9, Henry the Dog's culinary boycott Blue Peter. TV dogs are supposed to be cooperative, loyal, and ready to do tricks on cue, but Henry, Blue Peter's fluffy sidekick, had other plans. During a segment testing whether Henry preferred shop-bought dog food or a homemade gourmet treat, the pooch gave both options a hard pass. With a crowd of eager presenters cheering him on, Henry strolled past the bowls like a Michelin critic turning his nose up at cold beans on toast. He then exited the stage entirely, leaving the presenters scrambling to entice him back. Dignity intact, Henry simply said, "Not today, thank you," and wandered off like a true canine connoisseur. Number 8, Thelma's Studio Tinkle. This morning, Paul O'Grady, legendary presenter and dog devotee, brought two adorable Battersea dogs, Thelma and Louise, onto This Morning to promote their adoption. Louise was the picture of poise. Thelma, on the other hand, had a full bladder and no time for manners. While O'Grady chatted about the dogs' personalities, Thelma relieved herself not once but twice on the studio's fake hay bale props, one time directly behind Paul himself. "It's the nerves of telly," he quipped, before cheekily adding that he'd seen worse behavior on Loose Women. Let's be honest, she stole the show and possibly ruined the carpet. Number 7, Shep versus the Spoons. Blue Peter. Roy Castle was doing a musical segment on how to play the spoons, a wholesome, clinky-clanky moment of British telly. That is, until Shep, the much-loved Blue Peter sheepdog, decided the spoons were clearly a threat that had to be chewed into submission. A's Castle valiantly tapped out rhythms. Shep lunged at the utensils with the passion of a rock star smashing a guitar. Presenter John Noakes tried to rein him in, but Shep was committed to his mission. The dog eventually had to be escorted off stage, presumably to a quiet room with no cutlery. Number 6, Alpaca Spit Take This Morning. In a prelude to a segment featuring alpacas, presenter Philip Schofield got a nasty surprise. Two alpacas, charmingly named Pete and Spitfire, were being introduced, and in a twist of nominative irony, it was Pete, not Spitfire, who unleashed a loogie right at Philip. The spit hit its mark just before the camera cut back to the main studio, and the clip was gleefully replayed for viewers anyway. Holly Willoughby wisely distanced herself, physically and emotionally, leaving Schofield to soldier on with the dignity of a man who'd just been slimed on national TV. Number 5, Gordon the Gopher gets mauled going live. On a seemingly innocent Saturday morning episode of Going Live, beloved hand puppet Gordon the Gopher made a routine appearance, only to find himself in the jaws of terror, courtesy of Zoltan the dog. Gordon's squeaky voice, a national treasure to kids, unfortunately also mimicked the sound of a deluxe chew toy, and Zoltan wasn't having any of it. The moment Gordon popped up, Zoltan lunged like a furry assassin, determined to rid the studio of what he clearly thought was a squealing rodent. With teeth bared and tail wagging, the tiny terror repeatedly tried to de-stuff Gordon like an old couch cushion. Meanwhile, Chris Wright, the puppeteer, bravely kept the show going with a smile that barely hid his inner scream. The other dog on set, totally chill, probably sitting there wondering what the fuss was about. Off screen, the crew collapsed in laughter while viewers at home got a bonus segment, When Dogs Attack Puppets. By the end, Chris probably considered a career change, maybe accountancy where stuffed animals don't come under siege. Gordon survived, but his dignity shredded like squeaky polyester. Number 4, Monet, the pony's bathroom break this morning. This morning's attempt to showcase alternative service animals turned into an unforgettable equine extravaganza when a miniature guide pony named Monet decided to express himself through interpretive toilet performance. As the host smiled and the handlers raved about Monet's discipline, the little pony made his own contribution. On the floor, front and center, timing, comma, as they say, is everything. And Monet had it nailed. Just as Holly and Phil asked whether ponies could be house-trained, Monet plopped his answer with pristine comedic precision. "Normally we bring a bucket," one trainer muttered, as the studio collectively gagged and giggled. The camera cut to Monet, who looked absolutely unfazed, like a performer proud of his art. Meanwhile, the pristine studio rug screamed internally. Holly backed up faster than a reversing van, while Phil tried to style it out like they'd rehearsed this all along. Let's face it, Monet may not have passed his guide pony audition, but he certainly stole the show, and maybe a few nostrils. Number 3, Richard Whiteley and the Ferret of Doom calendar. Countdown legend Richard Whiteley appeared on Yorkshire's calendar to chat about a book on ferrets, fuzzy creatures with charm, curiosity, and the occasional thirst for blood. The author, radiating misplaced confidence, insisted these animals were lovely and playful. Moments later, one of the ferrets demonstrated that playful apparently means vampiric little menace. As Whiteley reached out to pet the seemingly innocent critter, it clamped onto his finger with the tenacity of a taxman during audit season. He winced, twisted, and wiggled, but the furry attacker held firm like it had just found its favorite chew toy. Off camera, the crew stifled laughter, while on camera, the author chuckled heartlessly and said, "She's just playing." Whiteley's face told a different story, one of escalating pain and silent regret. You could almost see the countdown clock ticking in his eyes. Eventually, someone had to rush in and detach the beast, though by then Whiteley probably had a strong opinion about ferret legislation. Safe to say, he wasn't rushing to adopt one. Number 2, Dog Drops a Deuce, BBC Breakfast. Weather presenter Carol Kirkwood was live from sunny West Wittering Beach, doing her usual excellent job explaining warm fronts and coastal breezes. But meteorology quickly took a back seat when an uninvited canine strolled into the frame, clearly unimpressed by the BBC's production values. With the poise of a seasoned showstopper, it paused, squatted, and answered nature's call. Viewers at home witnessed it all. The pooch's businesslike posture, the resulting deposit, and the stunned silence that followed. Carol, blissfully unaware, continued talking about humidity while the studio erupted into barely contained laughter. "Don't turn around, Carol," one presenter warned. As the nation collectively lost it. The clip went viral faster than a cold in winter, with social media hailing the dog as a hero of live TV mischief. Carol, ever the professional, later joked, "It's the story of my life, upstaged by a dog." Frankly, that pup may have delivered the most memorable weather moment of the year. Give that dog a BAFTA. Number 1, Lulu the elephant causes a studio meltdown. Blue Peter. This is the gold standard, the Titanic of televised animal chaos. Lulu the elephant was brought onto Blue Peter in a classic 1969 episode. Supposedly pre-recorded, it very much had the chaos of a live broadcast. Lulu was not interested in sitting politely. She pooped, she peed, she almost took out presenter Valerie Singleton like a bowling pin. The floor became a hazard zone and chaos reigned. To make matters worse, one of the show's dogs started whining in distress off screen. If the idea was to educate children about elephants, the lesson was probably don't bring one into a TV studio despite the disaster, or because of it, this moment remains the most iconic animal encounter in British television history. If you had a laugh or gasp at one of these wild animal TV moments, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Got a favorite furry fiasco we missed? Drop it in the comments below. We love hearing your pics. And make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and remember, never work with animals unless you want to go viral.